It didn't have no big city market. It didn't have no baddies on the sideline. It didn't have none of that. This
That
was
was
just pure hoops, fam.
Welcome back to Hits and Hoops. I'm Tyler, and I'm here with my give and go partner, Dixon. What's good, Chicho?
What's popping?
We finally have a new 2024-2025 NBA champion, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Uh, today
Hey,
we're
hell yeah.
today we're going to be talking about finals, SGA, Halliburton, Oklahoma, and Indiana, and much more at the end of that. But before I get started, make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment, share on IG, TikTok, Spotify, and Apple. Let's jump right into the finals, Dixon. I want you to give me your view on this year's champion.
Let's just talk about the finals, overall. I know they say the ratings are down, the views are down, but this one's really for the hoopers. This one was really for the basketball purists. Real basketball heads are going to remember Indiana versus OKC 2025. It's one of them ones. It's in my top 10 finals of all time. Quickly. Top five, actually.
If you didn't love this finals, you don't love basketball for real.
As simple as that. If you didn't love this finals, you don't get basketball. This was purely hoops because it didn't have no, global celebrity superstar. It didn't have no big city market. It didn't have no baddies on the sideline. It didn't have none of that. This was
That was
just pure hoops, fam.
that was one thing that I really noticed about this year's finals. They, I mean, I can't think of more than five times that they showed a celebrity.
When the Knicks were in it, they was heavy on that. But like
Oh
I
man, that was
said,
the whole segment.
yeah, when we get to this point, it was just pure hoops. Not many celebrities out there. If you know, you know, like, Zaire Franklin from the Colts, he was out there, big Indiana guy, shit like that. But that's just if you're plugged in. But like on a face card recognition wise, not gonna see anyone you know. So like I said, able to just focus on the hoops, and the hoops that was displayed was pure, was beautiful. Wasn't no flopping. Wasn't no mad threes, live by the three, die by the three. Wasn't no travel, Euro step. No, it was none of that. It was pure hoops, ball movement. Don't matter who scored.
It was defense and who could have the right run at the right time. That's
For
what it was all
sure.
about.
For sure. And
I had the finals finished 2 days ago since we're recording now, but last night I was like, man, we that's it. Like we don't get these games
super
for
disappointed when
for
you
the next
realize that.
year. So
I
it
know.
was a disappointing night have not having to be able to watch this series continue, but obviously Game 7, that's what it
More
goes
than
up
what
to.
you could ask for. First game seven since. And I think that to me, these are the best hoops played that I've seen since those Cleveland Warriors series before KD.
Yeah.
And ironically so, this was the first game seven since 2016, since Braun and them came back from 3-1.
Yeah, all right. So I'm gonna just rapid fire on the games, okay? I just want to recap because we don't talk about this purposely because we want to see how it plays out before we get into our sports shit. Game 1, Halliburton's game winner. The Pacers, they stole that game
They
in
did. They were
incredible
losing that
fashion.
whole game,
They were losing the whole game. They were getting beat in
but
almost
they
every
just stuck
category.
right there by 10.
That was an awesome game winner. So 81 game one. Obviously, that shocked everybody because
No, that just cemented Halliburton as the greatest single season, postseason clutch run of all time. Ain't no one else. If
yeah,
you
he
want
was
to
the
look
most
at
touches. Yeah,
stats, if you want to look at impact, he had a buzzer beater, if not game winner, every round of the playoffs up to the finals.
yeah, that's saying something.
He
Going
was
to
on
game two,
Destiny time.
going going to game two. A thunderstorm happened. Everybody was hitting. They drowned the Pacers.
You
Pacers did
know,
come back a little bit, but I think it was well within like 15 maybe points. So it
yeah.
was 1-1. Obviously, game three, first game in Indy. So Indy was gonna come out heated, right? The
Swinging.
crowd came out. I will say this series really showed you because I even felt this way myself. That home court advantage wasn't a big thing anymore. And this
Mm-mm.
series,
It
I think
was
should have showed like, no, it's a real thing.
real hoops, fam.
It's a real thing. So that game three, that was the first game that everybody was, kind of clicking. They took game three pretty easily. Then OKC came back, and that's when SGA kind of had one of his moments in this series when he had 15 in the fourth and
Yeah.
put them over that.
Oh, that's when SGA hit that stumble,
Yeah,
that back.
he definitely
Hey,
had
but
a
let me
moment.
say something as we going along throughout the series, bro. Like Nemhart,
Much respect to him, man.
hey, to me, that's up there with like Udonis Haslem on Dirk Nowitzki in 2006 as like one of the best one-on-one defensive performances I've seen in any playoff series, specifically in the finals.
I
The
was crazy
defense that
impressed with him.
Naismith was, wait, is it Nembhard or Naismith? Because I always get them two
No,
combined.
Namesmith is 23. He's got the dreads, and then Nemhard is the point guard.
The light skinned one from
Yeah,
Toronto.
yeah.
Toronto Ute. Yeah, him, bro. His one-on-one defense on Shea was all-time historic. And yeah, even though Shea was able to get to his, everything was a struggle. Just getting the ball itself was a struggle. When I tell you he was getting face guarded 90 feet all series, wasn't no easy shot for Shea. Ever.
Yeah, nothing was easy. At some moments of some of the games, you could they would back up. I mean, if it was Shea, if it was whoever was a ball handler, he would be on the ball, and they would be pressing on the half court line dozen times a game,
Yeah.
and it would be
Trapping at the half.
yeah,
Shea had to
exactly,
learn how to split that double.
yeah. That
When
was
you
that
get the
was key to get
screen
this
and then
game
a
going.
second guy, the big comes around. D Wade would master that split the double. That's something he had to learn how to do in real time throughout the series, and he did.
So they go back to OKC. It's 2-2. That's when Jalen Williams had his 40-point game.
Jalen Williams' legacy game.
This was a moment in the finals game. This will be talked about for the rest of his career. Talking about Jalen Williams, after game five is where I bought into everything that he's been doing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes they kind of don't know what to do. Like they become stagnant more when I think um J Will and SGA
At the
kind of did
same
that
time.
my turn, hit your turn type
Yeah, they
shit.
do that too much.
And I felt like it was unnecessary
They play
because
better when it's just one of them out there at a time.
I felt the same way. So this was my game that I was like, this is the stamp. Win or lose the series, this was a big game for this player. And I'll tell you what, I think I texted you this. His efficiency on regular layups, just generic 2K layups, is is the package to have. I'm telling you.
Nah, his offhand layup with the left
Holy shit.
is too smooth.
And he has I heard he had a 7'2", 7'3" wingspan. That's why, I mean, he's 6'5",
Getting
6'6".
around shit.
That's why he can get around those bigs.
Nah, he's super nice. He got a super deep bag. I'm a big Jalen Williams guy. I think he's, bubbling superstar for years to come.
I was always in, but I'm like, man, I don't, there's something. And he just stamped it for me. Game
Game
six, they go back
six.
to Indiana. And just from that intro, I don't know if you watched it. When Many Men came on, when Carlson was on the screen,
Holy shit.
I said, how is this a good duo right now?
Shout out 50.
And I just felt like there was something in the air, and Pacers fucking swamped and mollywopped them
Had all the momentum in the world after that game.
in the world. And I'll tell you what, man, I couldn't believe how flat OKC came out, and I couldn't believe how ready Indiana was for it. Yeah, they almost caught them shook a little bit. Then
Yeah,
game
no,
seven,
it was
obviously,
looking scary for
yeah,
OKC after that one.
game seven in OKC. We all know what happens, but beginning of the game, Halliburton goes out,
No, hold
and
on. Before that, wait. Halliburton goes 3 for 3 from three.
yep,
Looked like he about to go crazy, talking shit on the sideline and everything.
Yeah.
And then he goes to get a pass and he just steps super hard on that right foot that he already had a strained calf on. But we already seen this before.
One thing I've learned, bro, never buy something with a boner.
KD, 2019, Raptors Warriors. Same exact situation. KD had a strained calf, missed a couple games, came back too soon. And then the next step following a strained calf is a torn Achilles. And that's what happened to Halliburton. The crazy thing is you could actually see it happening. You see like his whole calf buckle.
That first replay, my stomach sunk. And
And
I
I
don't know about
was
you, but yo, they showed that replay
too many times.
15 times.
Hey, just one time was enough, bro. You
Chill,
didn't have to lead the commercial big
chill.
with it.
Yeah,
You didn't
yeah,
have to turn it into a highlight. It's not a highlight, fam. It's a low
yeah.
light.
And I will say another low light is when they kept zooming in on his face, and my man was Blair out crying,
Hey,
patting the
you know what's
floor.
the saddest part, bro? When that happens to like athletes, they're not even crying. Like I want people to know, like when you see athletes get injured, especially like the great ones that want to be great, that put their all out. Like when you see them get injured and you see them cry and you see them super sad, it's not from the pain from the injury.
No, it's the journey that's about to be ahead of them.
It's because
Their
you
their
can't
career
contribute.
is going to change.
You can't contribute to this series anymore. On a game 7, are you kidding me? I just went 3 for 3 and it's over before I even get to start. Super tragic, man. Super, super heartbreaking. But that's the risk
So,
that he was, aware that he was
right,
taking. He even talked about it before the game. It's crazy. And I don't blame him. I don't think no one blames him.
yeah.
If it's me, get NBA Finals, yeah, I'm playing. The fuck? This ain't guaranteed ever to happen again.
I mean, I know, I would do it. I know you would do it. We know
That's
a
the
lot of
one
people that would.
situation where you would do it.
Yeah.
Hey, first round series, set it out, fam.
I mean, they have a good record without him, honestly.
And bro, they played really well first half.
The first half, this was a game.
Even without him, they kept playing really well throughout the first half. Everyone was doing their thing. Siakam, Nemhart, TJ McConnell. But that was more in the third quarter. But
Yeah,
second
yeah,
half was a different story. OKC just overpowered them.
yeah. I mean, it was the third quarter. I think they had 7 or 8 turnovers.
It was
But
really just OKC versus TJ McConnell. He went
yeah,
12 in a row in the third
now
quarter.
I
Six for,
think when my cousin, aka TJ,
yeah.
would go on those runs, and he did it probably what 3 times in the whole series. That's usually when everybody's just can't hit the rim, and he just comes out of nowhere and gets 7, 8, 9, 10 in a row. But
Yeah,
that's so
he was
that's
going absolutely crazy. He literally put Indiana on his back in that third quarter, but it's not enough. You can't defeat a great team like OKC with just one person.
yeah. So obviously we know OKC won pretty handily at the end. And what are some of your other your takeaways that you've gotten from this series?
Gotta talk about the historical significance of
Yeah,
the team of SGA. This is one of the youngest teams, if not the youngest team
I think it was this. I think it was like the second.
to just win a title, not even speaking about having like top 5 greatest records of all time or something. You know what I mean? So it's weird because people that know aren't gonna throw them in the all-time great team conversation yet, just because they weren't necessarily dominant throughout their playoff run.
Yeah,
Like
they weren't. They weren't.
exactly the great teams we've seen, they're dominant throughout the playoff run. They weren't. So we're not labeling them that, but ladies and gentlemen, this is the beginning of the Sam Prestine dynasty. This is it right here. Did you know that they have like some guy that didn't even play this year that's supposedly like insane?
From the Euro League, yeah,
The Euro guy.
or another league. But yeah,
Come
like
on, bro.
he hurt his leg in the preseason or something.
What? Come on, bro.
Yeah, I heard
Hey,
today that they
they
want to
got
move
Case
up in
and
the pick.
Wallace. Hey, Case and Wallace, they ain't even really unleash him yet. They just slowly rolling him out, but he's a demon.
Yo, even Isaiah Joe, I think he could play.
He's nice.
Big minutes.
For a big man, he got moves. So they like I told you, beginning of the Preston Empire.
So someone that's leading the ship in this, I want to talk about SGA's season that he just had.
It's a Canadian team, Kroski.
This year, scoring title MVP, NBA champion, and a finals MVP. I'm sure you heard by now, there's four players that have done that
Ever.
all time. Kareem in 71, MJ in 91, 92, 96, and 98, Shaq in 2000, and now SGA. Why are people discrediting this?
I think it's a big part play style. He ain't gonna have the highlights, the flashy dunks. He's not gonna have the crazy crossovers. Not gonna have the threes like Steph or Dame. Just gonna kill you slowly and kill you efficiently. I think it's a large thing to do with play style and also personality. Always just so neutral, always just so calm. But nah, he had one of the great all time seasons, and I would say his play didn't necessarily dip or go up in the playoffs from the regular season, and that's saying a lot. He won the MVP. So he pretty much continued to play at an MVP level throughout the whole playoffs.
Touche, yeah.
So shout out SGA, shout out Krosky. Uh he did it for Toronto, did it for Drake, did it for the Six. So big shout out to them.
One thing I wanted to talk about when it came to Oklahoma or OKC, I'm sorry. I wasn't a big believer in Chet until honestly until very recent, and that was in the Minnesota series. Is when I said, okay, he can be effective because one thing I don't like about Chet, and I felt this way all year, even a little bit of last year, because first year he got hurt, second year, he's kind of like Bambi out there, but now he's been a couple years in, he's very soft in the inside, so I just if you're that big and you can get pushed around that easy, that's like I don't know. We've seen a lot of guys do that and kind of disappear, but he's very talented, right? So there was one point in Minnesota, I'm not sure which game. I think it was either game one, game two. He goes in, the game starts, and they instantly go after him. And Minnesota instantly goes after him. And I think they might have hit seven or eight in a row. Um, he gets pulled, right? Offense comes back in, it flows, the game gets tight. I think it was the third or fourth quarter. He comes back in playing very little, and he flipped the game. Everything they were doing to him, he made it to in his advantage. So he would bring the big outside, shoot over them. He would rim run a lot better than a lot of other bigs because he
Get an
even
offensive rebound, put it back
yeah,
up.
and he split the game. I don't think he gets credit historically from it, but there was something I saw at that moment where I that sold me on Chet. And he would have moments that would swing games from then and on. What I realized more defensively, how long he can be from the perimeter to the inside, affecting pretty much one
Really
through
hard to get a
five.
shot over him.
Um, but he does every once in a while he'll have a soft moment inside. But for
No,
what he
but
can do,
ironically, he gets pushed around when he's on offense.
yes,
It's not when he's on defense. When he's on defense, he'll go to work. Like he'll hold
he'll
his own.
try. Yeah,
But when he's on offense, he gets pushed around. He can't really get inside if he wanted to.
his length
Pause.
is so valuable to his game, and it's awesome to see. It's I'm it, pretty much I'm bringing up I'm in on Chet, and I'm more in on their going back to what you were talking about their future
For
because of
sure.
what I saw in Chet. Just bro, injuries is the only thing that's going to keep that guy from being really
Hey,
good.
real ones knew Chet Holmgren was ill when he destroyed Steph Curry at his camp. There's that clip out there where he blocked Curry talking about give me that shit. And then he sauced him up, crossed him up, and then slammed it. Real ones know on some ballers life shit. But yeah, Chet Holmgren been him. It was so dope to see him get that. So dope. I think it's gonna play a huge part in his career, potential Hall of Fame career.
Is there anything you want to bring up on the Oklahoma City's season as a whole?
Nah, man, just
What we went over.
perfect cap off to historically great season as a team, and to me one of the greatest defensive teams I've ever seen. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to throw them up there with like the '07 Spurs.
Wow. Okay.
Um, all those great all-time defensive teams for sure. They were nothing but pure demons. Think about it, bro. You got two all NBA defensive players in the starting lineup in SGA and J Will.
Yeah.
Three actually,
Well,
with
you
Lou
got
Dort.
Lou Dort, and then even off the bench.
Hard, yeah, exactly. Three on the starting lineup. Lou
Yeah.
Dort, SGA, and Jalen Williams. All three all-world defenders. Off the bench, you got two all-world defenders in Alex Caruso and Cason Wallace.
Yeah.
That's five all NBA defenders on one team. One of the most stacked defensive teams of all time. And what made them different for me is like they could dominate the game with their defense. They could go on a run with their defense.
With turnovers, points off turnovers. That's, I mean, that's why
Mad
they,
deflections. And you know one thing about them? They play clean.
yeah.
All those deflections wasn't no fouls. And you know how you could tell the offensive player didn't ever complain. He got stripped and then went right to playing defense. Because guess what? Clean strip. Caruso was a huge factor throughout this whole series. He balled out. He showed us.
Hey, I think he played better in this series than he did with LA, honestly.
100%. 1,000,000%.
That one game where he had 20 off the bench,
Caruso
and
was all over the place in this
yeah,
series. On defense and on offense. Game seven, he showed up. He hit those huge open big threes. And then defensively, he's a menace.
I do. I'm sorry to say though, all I see is fucking Elmer Fudd from
Jesus
from the
Christ.
Looney Tunes. It's so fucked up. Like I'm not
You
meaning
talking
them
about the guy that hunts?
in Space Jam. In Space Jam,
Yo.
it's not like I like to make fun of a lot of things, right? But it's just one thing that just is consistent, never leaves.
Yo, you stupid.
Going over to
Come here,
India,
rabbit.
yeah, it's Wabbit season. Going over to Indiana, obviously the biggest news with Halliburton's Achilles tearing. Where do you see them going? Like, what's their future? What do you think? Do you think they could be back next year? Do you think they have a solid
You
ground?
seen how good they were playing without him, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no, they're actually still gonna make the playoffs next year, even though he's not gonna play all year. But I think as long as he's there and he's able to compete at his level, I think he'll always have his team in a successful position, at least in the playoffs. Will they make it back to the finals? I'm not sure because this
I
was a
agree too.
Cinderella special type run. It was
Four
one of them ones.
4 game winners.
It was one of
Mhm.
them ones. So will they make it back to the finals? I don't know. Will they make it back to the playoffs? I think he'll routinely be a playoff.
You know, it's funny
But
because we really from the East, we really thought that New York was having that magic.
they had the two. No, Indiana and New York had those like
Wouldn't it?
Cinderella type runs. But the problem is the two Cinderella run teams ran into each other. So
Well,
one of them had to come out of it.
that's what I was saying. Like they both had it. We didn't know really Indiana had it until they took it from New
The other
York, and we
team,
said,
yeah.
"Damn, Indiana's had it the whole time, and we haven't
We
noticed.
didn't even realize it was
We
right
didn't even
there the whole
care."
time. We was over there caught up with the Statue of Liberty and shit.
So one thing that was a big, somewhat of a story is Halliburton a superstar?
He's not a superstar. It's okay though. He's a
Right.
star.
It's okay.
Really
Right.
good star. Like if you had levels of star, I would put him like into that mid to that high level of stars, but not a superstar. No. You
No.
can't, not score a field goal in a finals game and be any type of superstar.
I mean, realistically, there's right now, how many superstars are there? Maybe five?
Count on one hand.
Yeah. So it's okay, like you said, that he's not a superstar. He's a star. He's a
Yeah, no, but
rising
he
star.
yeah, and he's just such a throwback player, true definition of a point guard. I think Tyler overall, like, I think this series saved basketball.
Save basketball? Okay.
I think this final saved basketball because I think after all the Ben Simmons of the world, I think after all the Embiids of the world, the James Hardens of the world, the KDs of the world, Steph Currys of the world, I think basketball was in a bad place. I think we got too caught up in the threes, too caught up in the high scoring games. And I think this brought it back down to, what it's supposed to be, like the true art
Hey,
form, the origin of the
I
art form. So,
I like that take. That's probably one of my favorite of your takes of all time. That's awesome.
no, for
Is
sure.
it? I'll tell you what, those a lot of those names you said soured me, and I fucking NBA's been my favorite league forever.
I know. Same.
Going back to Indiana as a team, is there any way you think they can improve? Like, do you think there's a piece out there
I
that
think
they
I
could
think get another scorer in there for
another
sure.
score?
Get a high level scorer in there. So maybe someone that could come off the bench that's a high level scorer. But I think definitely get another high level scorer. And yo, one thing about Halliburton, just to go back to him real quick, his has a weird ass bag. Like his one on one is just like a delayed cross. He's just doing this a bunch of times, but he's so smooth with it. Just him doing this is covering 8 to 9 feet. But he don't really have a bag where he's like doing a step back in and out, hezzy. Like, no, he's just kind of dancing with it back and forth and then going with it. So it's interesting to see if he'll ever develop like more moves and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wonder. Just going. We were talking about how like the ratings, the book down or whatever. I mean, I really don't give a shit about that. But I wonder if after these finals, the league will start to promote more younger players. Because let's be honest, like there's no huge storyline from these guys because they're so young, and this is the beginning of something.
Right.
This is the beginning of a new trend in the league. This is the
Right.
beginning of a it's might not be one guy just dominating everything for a
Team.
long
This is the
time.
return of the team.
This
Team
is the
ball.
team. Yeah, this is like the
Ain't no
team
more big
renaissance.
threes.
Yeah,
They
shit. Yeah,
killed
we
all the
know that.
big threes.
Do you have
You know
anything
who
else?
ended big threes though?
Who ended the big threes?
Yeah, twice. Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard
Mhm.
single-handedly ended big threes, and then he started the big two era, which was short-lived. And then now we're back to the team era.
Let me ask you this: Bringing up Kawhi, you made me think of something. Is SGA a different version of Kawhi?
He's definitely got a lot of Kawhi in him, 100%.
Yeah,
The mid-range, and then also like
mid-range,
his
motionless,
personality. Yeah,
team
exactly.
ball.
Yep, good defender. Yeah, he definitely got a lot of Kawhi in him for
Yeah,
sure.
so maybe
I'd say he's like a combination of like Kawhi and like Jordan, something like that.
okay. So maybe Kawhi is just this era. SGA's Kawhi is this era. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would say SGA is just his own thing, but he definitely got Kawhi in him for sure.
He's got Kawhi. I like that better. Anything else you got on the finals? I think after watching this finals, I think next year we have to watch the finals together. One game.
How do we do that?
I don't know, but we'll figure it out.
Hey, I was at least trying with the little, pre-game matchups and stuff.
Even in person, like that would be ideal. That's what I'm saying.
Nah, for sure. Nah, for sure. That shit is a movie.
Summertime, our kids are gonna be out of school. We'll
Right.
figure do something. All right. So NBA offseason has already started. We got moves today. Holiday was traded for Anthony Simons.
Yeah, what
Uh,
you think about that?
I hate to see Drew kind of in a mentorship at this stage of his
Play it
career.
off. Yeah,
I hope he is redirected somewhere where he can compete because I still think he's got another year in him.
for
I
sure.
mean, remember, man, like he's been on the USA teams. Like he's
Nah,
played a lot
he
of
got another
basketball.
year or two in him, for sure.
He's played a
It's a
lot of
great player.
basketball. So him going to the mentorship with Portland could be cool, but I still think he's still a starting five player, which I'm sure he still will be in Portland, but
Yeah.
he'll be at a different end of his career. Unfortunately, I hope not, but I think that's what it is. So I do hope he gets redirected with Anthony. What's more shooting for them? I think he can
Oh, that's
score.
a dope move for
You
Boston.
know,
Anthony Simmons, low key, was a great scorer in Portland.
yeah, he was their top scorer.
Yeah.
I think what a year or two ago he was an all-star.
And I think also it's a great supplement for JT. because he won't be here. He won't be there this year. Torn Achilles. So yeah, I think it's a great move for Boston. I think they also just traded Porzingis. Breaking news alert. I
Oh,
don't know
really?
exactly where, but yeah, I think Porzingis got traded as well.
Check it out. I don't know why people think Boston's gonna take a leap year, like they're not gonna try, because Boston always tries. No matter what, they go for it.
The Boston Celtics trade Kristaps Porzingis to the Atlanta Hawks.
The Hawks.
Three-team trade that also include the Brooklyn Nets. Boston will receive George Niang and a second round pick in the deal. So pretty
Boston.
much look like they gave up nothing.
uh,
They got nothing in return, really. Well, yeah, he didn't even play in this playoff series, and no one knew why. So it's like, what
yeah,
the fuck?
what was it? Mystery sickness? Like, what the fuck was that about? Fuck.
Nobody knows.
When have you ever heard that? He's just not good.
He's
What's
just not
wrong?
feeling it.
It's like an answer your kids give you when they don't feel good. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure. I
Wanna
just
know
don't feel good.
why?
I just don't feel good. Oh, okay. What's wrong with your leg? I don't know. It hurts.
What's the
Like,
symptoms?
it
I'm
hurts.
sick.
So the biggest off-season move as of this far, KD being traded to Houston. The main centerpiece was Jalen Green, obviously, and Dylan Brooks, and another player, right? Like five second rounders.
Couple
Doesn't
second
matter
round
because our Heat didn't get them. Didn't get him
for the second time.
for the second time. You sent me this awesome list of what I wanted to make, but you found it on the internet and you sent it to me. I'm
Yes, I
gonna go
did.
through it with you because I loved it. It did all the work for me.
I loved it too.
And
Thank God for the
we're
internet.
gonna go one by one, all right? Let's go through this. Kyrie in 20
Explain the list. Explain what
yes,
this
I'm gonna
list is.
explain it. Kyrie in 2023. He was one of those guys that the Heat had on his list. Okay, with two or
These
three
are
others.
all players that showed interest in the Heat throughout
Yes,
the years.
yes, but there's different scenarios for the players,
Oh,
right? Some are greater than others, right?
okay,
So some
okay.
are legit and some are just talking
Right.
that shit. So Kyrie was, I don't think ever had a meeting with Miami, but Miami was on the list.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So serious, but not really. Then
Not
it goes
serious
to
at all.
Giannis in 2020. Rumored was the most it got. There was no list with Giannis. There was no I would like if you were to trade me Russell Wilson talk. It was
NBA
rumored.
Twitter.
NBA Twitter rumored. Even less of a dick tease, to be honest, than Kyrie, right? KD in 2023, it was on his list. It
Yes, it
was
was. It was on a short list of teams that he
Miami
was
Phoenix,
preferring to go to.
and whatever other
Yes,
bullshit
sir.
team. And this year came down to the top two again. I
And
I
at the time, you're saying 2023, you're saying that all these years, we didn't want to give up Hero. That was the one piece that was holding us back from getting these players that Tyler's bringing up in this time period. Our unwillingness to get let go of Tyler Hero.
Hero,
Important to keep that in
Bam,
mind. Because we
Hero,
were
and
never
Bam.
gonna give up Bam. That was never even a
No.
thought. That was never an option. So it was give it or Butler. Hero was the piece that we were unwilling to move off of that cost us all these players. Keep going.
So like I said, KD in 2023, KD in 2025. Now that everything is out now, right? The final offer was Wiggins, Rozier, which shoot me with Rozier.
Why we still got him, bro?
Exactly, exactly.
Should have never
Um,
got him in the first place.
I don't want to get into that, please. Please, that's a whole other argument. Final report: Wiggins, Rozier, Hame, Highsmith in the 20th pick. There was
And
no
Jovic. It wasn't Rozier, it was Jovic.
no. The final one I saw today, everything came out. It wasn't Jovic. They were
You
unwilling
telling
to
me
do
we
Jovic.
could have kept Jovic? Hey, ladies and gentlemen, hey, been real.
Hey, I know. Hey, I know. Come back, come back, come on. We got a whole list to go. But I know it's horseshit. It sucks. The offer is not what it should have been.
Oh my
Um,
God, brother.
Throwing another player, I think maybe you don't give them Wiggins and Rozier. Throw another younger player. It sucks. Jaime didn't have a good year last year. Highsmith is more valuable than Jaime to the Heat, in my opinion. Rozier, some other shit happened with him.
Yo, caught up in a scandal like on some
Yeah,
sports
like
betting shit.
it's what I'm saying. Like he did something, and they it's kind of like to me like a Jimmy Butler situation. Just he ain't going wild. You feel me? We thought Rozier would have been he was a Heat player, but then whenever he came to our system, I think maybe him not getting as many shots. Um, he did play team ball, but there was just something off with his
After the
chemistry.
whole betting scandal, he changed. He was never the same after that.
Yeah. So wiping my tears from Miami. Then it goes to Donovan Mitchell. We were
Oh
also
my
a list
God.
of teams.
That's the
And
one to me. That's
is
one of
the
the ones to me that hurt the most because now only were we on the list, there was like other
no, he thought
reports.
himself he was going to Miami because he wanted to play with Bam, which is not only like the fourth player to have said that.
Everyone wants to play with Ben. Bro, it's
Everybody loves
Miami.
Bam.
It's Miami, fam.
So he was the like you said, the hardest not get. He thought he was going to Miami. I remember that off season, just looking at Miami IG and Twitter, he was hooping with Bam. He was in Miami a bunch of times.
Already training down here.
Moving on. Harden, that was a rumor thing. I think
No,
that was
back
a
to the Mitchell thing though. We didn't
yeah,
want to
yeah.
give up. That was around time with like that first Gobert trade that fucked everything up. So it was crazy the deal for him. It was like 4 to 5 first round picks. I told
Yeah.
Tyler, bro, I'll trade Pat Riley, bro. I'll trade everyone from the janitor to the CEO for Mitchell. You were like, damn, I don't know if he's worth all them picks, but
Going back to Mitchell, like in the draft, he wanted to go to the Heat. Just
oh
saying.
my God,
He was then the Heat were going to draft him, but he was drafted one pick ahead of us,
to the Jazz,
the Jazz. So moving on to Harden, he was a rumored guy. He was more in that Kyrie category.
right?
Bradley Beal was also rumored several times, but
The
I think
Bradley Beal one was a little serious.
it got serious a little bit. But
Yeah,
he didn't want to give up what they were asking. He were like, I think it was Kyle Lowry, a future first, and not much more. And I don't blame him. I don't think the Heat really wanted him as desperate as Washington wanted to get rid of him. I really think that was the case. And thank God that didn't happen because I've never been a fan of Beal. And look what's how
he was a killer in Washington, but he was ass in Phoenix.
um Damian Lillard also on the list, thought he was going to Miami, wanted to go to Miami, said
Had a great relationship with Bam.
I only want to go to Miami, and was dealt to Milwaukee. But I think that was a lot had to do with the GM was kind of like fuck what you want. That's everything we were heard, and I'm gonna do kind of my own thing. And then he said,
Pure
"Hey, is
stubbornness,
Milwaukee
bro.
cool?" And
Pure
that sucked.
stubbornness.
Next thing was Westbrook. He was also listed teams several times in 2020 and 2023, and this past offseason. The last 3 seasons he's been rumored to talk to the Heat. I
Mind
just
you, ladies and gentlemen, mind you, I said that Tyler Hero was a piece that we weren't willing to move off on trades.
yeah, those are
A
trade
lot of these players that Tyler's bringing up
free
were
agency.
free agents,
Yeah.
and we still couldn't get them. There was no trade required. We had the money.
And then the last one, which has been the most recent one, DeRozan. They had the last 2 or 3 off times he's been on contract, like up for contract, before going to the Bulls, before being traded,
A couple
and
times with
a
DeRozan.
couple times he's been wanting to come to Miami, but he was outbidded by what it was and then the Bulls. No, not the Lakers. He didn't, the Bulls. I'm sorry. And another
Lakers
time,
were in conversations with him though.
yeah, yeah. So just another miss. I mean, if they get DeRozan coming up in this, I don't know if they're going to go for the 20th pick, but if we just roll this shit back, it's going to be a tough year for your boy. I'm telling you right now.
Oh Lord,
I'm
bro.
sorry.
Nah, rumors are that we're looking at Kaminga. I really like that.
I
I'll
don't like
definitely
that as
take
much as
Kaminga.
you. Sell me on that because I don't like that as much as you.
What else is there? That's what I'm just gonna ask you.
Oh, we can't
Like,
go.
if you could tell me another alternative, then I'll roll with you. But what else is there?
Well, all right, I would buy in more into that, and there's no way they're going to do this because we we can't fucking land. Hey, real quick, on that list, there's six All NBA players currently.
Bro, it's
Harden's not All
Miami.
NBA anymore. Westbrook's not. CP is not. But everybody else, All
Bro,
NBA.
it's Miami, and we couldn't get a player here. You know, like that. We don't even gotta do nothing. The city sells us up. We actually have to go out of our way for them not to come. Like, we
But
have to do something for them not to come, which is Pat Riley and the whole stubbornness. I already told you, Pat Riley turned into the new Jerry Jones, fam. Sad to see. Just an old man who got
oh
his,
no.
power on the reign, and that's gonna let it go and get more stubborn by the day.
Kaminga and DeRozan, I would buy all in 100%. Then I'm in.
I don't see us getting both. I don't see us getting
No,
one
I
or
don't
the other.
either. There's no way they're getting both. But
That would be fire. I agree with you.
if they get that, because if they get DeRozan, okay, great. We were supposed. Oh, Spurs. That's the other team. Before he went to the Spurs, he was talking to come in the Heat. There was a trade rumor of him becoming the Heat.
And that was around prime time, DeRozan.
That was prime DeRozan. Now, if we get an older DeRozan, he's still very durable, still
Still
a,
20 plus
a really
PPG.
good player. Yes, no disrespect to DeRozan. Actually, I got a homeboy that played against DeRozan in high school. He said DeRozan lit him up and gave him 40.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Um, if we get DeRozan and Kaminga, I'm bought in. I'm like, okay, this I can buy myself into and talk myself into more depth, a little bit more youth. Not DeRozan, obviously, but DeRozan is experienced and has been to at least the Eastern Conference
I
Finals.
say let's get Kaminga and let's find a way to get rid of Wiggins and Rozier.
All right, going into the last segment. You had brought this up a couple weeks ago that you thought, and I could agree, that SGA is one of the best already mid-range shooters in the league.
For sure.
So you had something special you've been working on. Dixon Luna's 14, 14, yes, greatest mid-range shooters of all time. This is a great segment. I can't wait for you to spiel out. What you got on this list?
Yeah, fam. So there was a bit of conversation, I might have bit the bullet. I might have been prisoner of the moment. I might have jumped out there and said SGA was the greatest mid-range shooter of all time. People
Yo, you're a
quickly,
passionate guy. Come on.
of course, people quickly reminded me in the comments that I forgot that some people did exist, and I'm like, oh shit, this is one of the few times the comments, y'all are right. So I went back, I did my research, and like Tyler said, I developed 14 greatest mid-range shooters of all time. Now let me give you this caveat. I wanted players that were specifically known for their mid-range. So I'm gonna give you some honorable mentions before we get into the list. The reason these players didn't make it is because they were so much more than their mid-range shot. They weren't even really known for their mid-range shot, even though they were elite, all-time great at mid-range. It just wasn't part of their identity.
Okay,
Honorable mention, all-time great mid-range shooters, Paul Pierce.
that's a good one. Yeah,
My top five favorite players of all time. This is a list for another day.
we needed to get into that this summer because
Yeah. And it's
that's
crazy we haven't done that, but it's actually beautiful that we haven't done that yet. Steve Nash,
okay. All right, I like this
50,
list
40,
already.
90 guy, and Larry Bird,
Ooh,
great
Larry Bird
outside
hits.
shooter even before the 3-point was a thing. But these are guys that were all-time great elite mid-range shooters, but they were so much more than that. Let's get into the list. Now, this
You
is in
go.
no particular order.
Oh, okay, no order. Okay, all right.
This is no order. I'm just grouping all these guys together. These are the greatest that
Wait,
I've
you
seen.
couldn't come up with an order, or what happened with the order?
I just never did it.
Okay, touche. That's how you built the list. That's how you built the list. Let's go.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
hear it.
it. It was hard enough just to build it.
I get it.
In no particular order, greatest mid-range shooters of all time. Let's start it off with Carmelo Anthony.
Mm,
Hey, it's just gonna be a jab step or two,
Melo.
and that's it. He don't even gotta dribble the ball, but he gonna fuck you up from that
That's the
mid-range.
catch at like the 45-degree angle.
And then
And
bully ball a little bit.
and he was 6'8", had that length. He was
Quick
able to
ass
shoot
jump
over a
shot
lot of
too.
guys.
Hey, I had the, fortune to actually see Carmelo in person. I
Oh,
went
you
with my
did?
dad. I went with my dad to a game when he was with the Knicks. They played the Heat and just professional score. Just so smooth. But professional score. That's just what I got. Next person we'll go to is Rip Hamilton.
Ooh, that's a deep burn, bro. Hey, early 2000s, I hated Rip because
Master boy.
he
All
ripped
time great heat killer. He used
he
to
was a heat
destroy
killer.
us.
He was
He
a
used to
heat killer.
destroy us, Rip Hamilton, and he was more of a mover without the ball, catch the ball in motion off the pass and go straight up, boy.
That was like your it was almost like a stereotype of the early 2000s shooting guard. Six
Yeah, that
six,
was the
six
old school
seven,
shooting guard. Yeah,
can move without the ball, catch and shoot,
can shoot from
can't
the outside.
can move, can move with the ball. One of his counterparts, Ben Gordon, same kind of player. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
a
for sure.
nasty
And
run
then
around.
Chauncey Billups, even before him, that was really his running mate when they was,
Oh
winning all those
yeah,
championships and stuff. Next player we'll go with another all-time favorite player of mine, CP3, Chris
oh
Paul.
yeah.
You know,
The shot I remember with CP3 is stuck in my head. Is against the Spurs game winner
against Tim
in the play
Duncan.
up in the playoffs.
I remember that. I watched that live. Game
Hey, I
seven, first round.
that I don't know why. I mean, that was the most Chris Paul of Chris Paul shots.
It
Mid
was like he
range.
was kind of going up like this, went up one hand perfectly off the bank.
I was in the movies watching that on my phone.
You got a problem.
Hey, but look what happened now. 10 years later, 15 years later. It's a memory I'll never
It
forget.
was able to come in handy.
But
Yeah,
wow,
but
hey,
man, Chris Paul, floater god, one of the greatest floater of all time. Gotta throw him in there. Next player, you had brought him up earlier, Kawhi Leonard.
yeah, the machine.
Just a
It's a slog.
robot.
Hmm.
Just an absolute robot with an awkward laugh. Um,
Uh-huh.
Next, all right. Now this guy, I didn't do it in order, but this guy,
Go ahead, yeah.
he's definitely high up there if there was ever to be an order, and that's
Okay.
Sean Livingston.
Wow. Okay.
Sean Livingston, when he was with the Warriors coming off the bench,
That turnaround, right? Off the
that
baseline.
post game mid range, just me watching it, from what I seen, he was at least shooting 70, if not higher percent. That's just what from what I seen. I don't know the numbers.
That's a deep cut because you're 100% right. He
There's a
was a
meme.
efficient ass shooter. Yeah.
There's a meme going around like, oh yeah, Sean Livingston with the Warriors went 1,039 for 1,039 from mid range from
Oh, son.
2014 to 18, some shit. But like, you get the point. Next, you know, arguably, I guess the GOAT, Michael Jordan.
Well, man, you're funny as fuck.
Michael Jordan, the GOAT. Come on now. No one did the mid range in a prettier way. No one did the mid range in a higher fashion. Everything from the turnaround to how high he jumped to the game winners to the post game. Michael Jordan, he in one way or another revolutionized the mid range for me. He brought the post game out to the mid range.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I would assume he would be at the top.
MJ, gotta be there. Come on now. Next, let's go with, MJ 2.0, Kobe Bryant. Just like MJ copied his game, and one of those major part of the game was the mid range post game. Kobe was even prettier. The footwork, the pivot foot, the turnarounds. He had the whole bag, but the mid range was an elite part. Another player, we also had talked about him just now, and the, Heat rumors and stuff. DeMar DeRozan,
Yeah, he's mid-range all day.
mid-range god, all
He got a
day,
little bit of a three
every
back
day.
now, but
A little bit, he developed a three, but his bag, his efficiency is a mid-range, and he's the type like it don't matter if you're guarding that. Like it's contested mid-rangers too.
yeah, yeah.
And in the clutch, he's super clutch. One of the more clutch players we've seen. Next, this is a deep pull. You gonna like this one. LaMarcus Aldridge,
Oh shit. Yeah, LA.
monster from the
Yeah.
mid-range. Big
That
man, but hey, in the mid-range, too automatic. And he was
yeah.
already 7 foot, so you're not blocking it.
Hey, not to bring up bullshit, but he was also rumored to go to the Heat also.
Right,
Spoelstra told him to go to the Spurs.
right. LaMarcus Aldridge, killer when he was with Portland, and then even had a lot of underrated years with San Antonio. He was part
Oh
of that.
yeah. Yo, I thought he was better in San Antonio.
Don't
It's
do
just
that.
yeah, I do. I think he was a smarter player. Yeah.
Smarter for sure, but he was part of those great, like all-time great Spurs teams with Kawhi Leonard,
Yeah.
post Tim Duncan. Um,
Well,
ne-
that was their plan.
right, right. Next player on the list, this year's MVP, SGA, person that inspired this whole list. Single-handedly had one of the greatest mid-range shooting seasons of all time this year. But yeah, man, he's just a man on a mission, and his mission is to get buckets. That's all it is. Next person, gotta go for with another Oklahoma City Thunder legend, KD.
I knew he'd be on
Another
this list.
person, if we gotta do rankings, he's gonna be high up there.
Yeah.
KD, 7 foot sniper, never see nothing like him, never will again. His efficiency, his touch, he's just as an elite scorer from three, from mid range. He got it all, but I think the mid range is his best bag.
His best thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's so automatic. Everything from free throw down, that shit's automatic. It's a layup. And no shot KD shoots is contested. Don't
Yeah.
matter
He
who's on him.
reaches. Well, he's got that Chet reach.
Exactly. Got two left. Gotta do two
You've named a
throw.
lot of greats, so I can't. I don't know where you're gonna go. Like,
Gotta
you,
go with two throwback big men for the last two. Gotta go big ticket. Kevin Garnett. Big ticket was a motherfucking problem
good
from mid
call.
range, boy. And he was deep mid range. If he just took a step back, it would have been a three.
That was his. Yeah, that was his threat. Like his big man that could move so well. Oh yeah, but you got to guard him
Pick and
18 feet.
pop. He was one of
18
the
feet.
players that revolutionized the power forward position in general.
Good call. Yeah.
And Kevin Garnett, it was a conversation while they were playing. Who's better, Tim Duncan or KG? Over time, championships and all that team success, Tim Duncan escalated him in that conversation. But when they were playing, let me remind you, it was a conversation to be had.
Yeah.
KG was a motherfucking problem. 28 and 14 type shit.
And
And the
one was
mid
winning
range was a
championships.
huge, huge part of that.
Yeah.
Killer for mid range. And the last player we got to go with Dirk Nowitzki.
Man, you topped it off with all these, man. Dirk, you gotta have Dirk in there with that fadeaway with the knee in the air.
With the patented 1 foot fadeaway,
Yeah.
created a signature shot that a lot of players copied, reused, recycled. Another all-time great big man throwback and another player that revolutionized the position. So, yeah, man, that's my list. Greatest mid-range shooters of all time.
Yo, what a list. I mean, I don't know if I could have I don't think any AI in the world could have came up with a better list than that, to
Couldn't
be honest.
have, couldn't have. They would have thrown too many obvious things in there, but this is the real one.
Man, that was a great list, man. That was a great list. Well, that's it. Is there anything you want to wrap up? We'll be back in a couple weeks, and thank you for watching. And Dixon, I'll holler at you, man. Have a good night.
Hits and hoops jutsu.